You feel like you no longer fit in the life you are living. The walls that once protected you now seem to suffocate you. The dialogues that once nourished you sound like lifeless echoes. And even the silence that once was peace has become restlessness. This emptiness that surrounds you isn't by chance. It's the first breath of the quantum vacuum in your life. The discomfort you're experiencing is a warning that the old structure can no longer support the expansion of your consciousness. It's as if you were a star that no longer fits in the sky that contained it, a flame that needs new air to stay lit. This feeling of displacement is the invisible seal that you have entered a sacred territory, the space between worlds, the space where the old dissolves and the new begins to pulse. The quantum vacuum is the womb of the cosmos, the invisible matrix that silently holds all possibilities. It is cold because it doesn't bring the certainty of ready-made answers. It is uncomfortable because it tears illusory securities from your hands. It is lonely because no one can cross this corridor in your place. But it is precisely in it that you rediscover the source, the spark of what you truly are. It's not the end, it's the preparation. It's not loss, it's purification. When everything seems to be slipping from your hands, it's because the quantum field is collecting the fragments that no longer support your new identity. What seems like a collapse is just the dismantling of old foundations. What seems like emptiness is just space for the construction of the new vibrational temple you will inhabit. And if you are here, listening to these words, it is not by accident. The call to cross the vacuum doesn't come to everyone. It only comes to those whose soul has already signaled readiness. That's why you feel the strangeness you feel. That's why nothing fits anymore. The universe pulled you out of the ordinary so you could see the tear in the fabric of reality, the portal that only opens to those who are willing to cross it. You are in the interval between the cosmos's breaths. The old world has already let go of your hand, but the new one has not yet fully revealed itself. This transition is like being in the heart of the night, waiting for the sunrise that has not yet dawned. It is in the darkness that your spiritual vision sharpens. It is in the silence that your frequency aligns with the sound of creation. This is the point where you need to choose: resist the void or surrender to the crossing. Those who resist suffer more because they try to rebuild what has already been dismantled. Those who surrender realize that the vacuum is not destruction, but gestation. It is the cosmic interval where you stop being a survivor and become a creator. If your life seems suspended, it's because the universe is aligning the codes of your new reality. If doors have closed, it's because the old corridors no longer lead to your destination. The quantum vacuum is the guarantee that you are not lost. You are being rewritten. And the question is, will you have the courage to remain in this space without rushing to fill it with crumbs? Because those who endure the void are the ones who access abundance. Those who accept the silence are the ones who hear the true symphony. Those who cross the portal are the ones who awaken to the quantum leap. This is your call. The vacuum is here, and you are already inside it. The quantum vacuum is not just an absence. It is a vibrational corridor. Imagine yourself walking through a cosmic tunnel where the walls are not made of stone, but of frequencies, and each frequency responds to the state of your consciousness. It's a place where the old no longer sustains your form, but the new has not yet been fixed. It's uncomfortable because you find yourself between two existences, two timelines, two vibrational bodies. In this space, the pain you feel is not punishment, but creative friction. Every feeling of emptiness, every fragment of loneliness, every restlessness that burns in your chest are signs that your soul is expanding beyond the form that imprisoned it. The butterfly is not born without the cocoon tearing. Likewise, your new version does not emerge without the old one breaking. The vacuum demands detachment. It does not tolerate the accumulation of emotional baggage, mental patterns, or old stories. It's as if the vibrational field itself were taking from your hands everything that doesn't fit in the future being designed. And you feel this as a loss, but in reality, it is liberation. Every relationship that dissolves, every habit that becomes unbearable, every thought that loses meaning are signs that the universe is tuning your frequency so that you can cross the corridor. It is important to understand that this discomfort does not mean regression. It is progress. The void is a sign that you have left familiar territory. Those who insist on interpreting the vacuum as failure get stuck in the old cycle and keep spinning in circles. But those who understand that silence is preparation can cross it with confidence. Think of the vacuum as the silence before the symphony. The maestro raises his hands, The orchestra holds its breath. The audience holds their breath. There is an instant when nothing sounds, but it is in this instant that the potential for all the music already exists. This is the space you are in now, the silence loaded with infinite possibilities. Within the quantum vacuum, your soul sends energetic data to the field. This is why you feel internal friction. This tension is not random. It is communication. It's how the field shows you the points where you are misaligned. What causes pain is exactly what needs to be released. What causes anxiety is what can no longer inhabit your frequency. What seems empty is what is ready to be filled with something new. This space is a matrix. It's like a mother's womb, where no visible form yet exists, but all life is already being formed. You do not see the new vibrational body rise, but you feel the signs that something greater is being gestated. It is the darkness of the cosmic womb that protects the process until the moment of revelation arrives. And here is the truth that many cannot bear. The vacuum cannot be rushed. It does not obey the linear time of your mind. It only obeys the time of resonance. When you align, it opens the passage. When you resist, it prolongs the wait. This is the pedagogy of the quantum field. To teach that the crossing is not about speed, but about vibration. So don't be fooled. The vacuum is not the absence of a future. It is a multiplication of futures. Within it, infinite timelines coexist, awaiting your vibrational choice. That's why every thought, every emotion, every micro-decision matters. It is in this corridor that your energetic signature is reconfigured and that the future reality is defined. Before we continue, if this video is awakening something in you, take the opportunity to subscribe, like, and comment. This helps us expand this message even further. The vacuum is not the end of the road. It is the bridge. And every bridge requires the courage not to look back. If you dare to cross it, you will discover that what seemed like a loss was just the birth of your most authentic version. For the quantum leap to happen, the old identity needs to die. There is no crossing without dissolution. It's not about destroying your dreams or erasing your memories, but about dismantling the small and limited version that only learned to survive. It's your old mask that is fragmenting. It's your history of scarcity, fear, and repetition that can no longer sustain what you are destined to manifest. When the quantum field begins to reconfigure your frequency, everything that does not vibrate in resonance with your future is undone. The beliefs that once guided your choices lose their strength. The friendships that only exist to maintain the cycle of pain begin to move away. The habits that seemed normal begin to weigh like invisible chains. The old identity does not fall apart from the outside in, but from the inside out, like a garment that suddenly becomes too tight for the body that has grown. This process may seem like a loss, but it is, in fact, liberation. It is not a regression, it is a vibrational cleansing. You are not regressing, you are being refined. Think of a clay pot. Before receiving pure water, it needs to be emptied of what was already contaminated. The collapse of the old identity is exactly this necessary emptying. The dismantling of your old version is a sacred act. It's like tearing down the walls of a house that no longer offers protection, only imprisonment. The collapse is not punishment. It is preparation for the construction of a wider, more enlightened temple, more consistent with your true essence. And this process requires courage, because it exposes what was hidden. Illusions fall, and you see yourself face to face with your naked truth. Don't be surprised if you feel you no longer recognize yourself. This feeling is natural, because your old image in the mirror is fading. The words you used to use no longer describe who you are. The emotions that dominated you no longer find space. Even the dreams that once seemed so clear now seem pale before the greater call that resonates in your soul. This collapse is also an invitation. The universe doesn't take anything essential from you. What falls apart are just the fragile constructions that supported a limited version of yourself. What remains is the unchanging spark of your essence, ready to expand in a new direction. By observing this process, understand, nothing is being stolen from you. Everything is being returned to its source. It's as if the field were saying, this part does not belong to the future you have chosen. It needs to be dissolved. And the more you resist, the more painful the fall. The more you surrender, the faster the transition happens. Allow the old identity to collapse. Allow the old frequency to be undone. Because only then can the quantum leap happen. You cannot cross the portal carrying the weight of past versions. You need to enter light, clean, and ready to vibrate in coherence with the field that is already calling you. The collapse is not destruction, it is revelation. It is the divine act of removing the false layers so that your true light can manifest. Within quantum mechanics, there is a non-negotiable principle. The observer collapses the waves of probability into specific realities. This means that your consciousness is not just a reflection of the external world, but the lens through which the universe organizes itself. Every thought you sustain, every emotion you feed, every belief you repeat acts as an energetic command, determining which timelines become tangible in your life. You are not a passive spectator of existence. You are a constant vibrational emitter. Imagine yourself as a radio station that broadcasts incessantly. The quantum field does not respond to what you superficially desire, but to what you vibrate coherently. This is why so many people claim to want change, but remain stuck in the same cycles. Because the emitted frequency does not match the declared desire. Desire without frequency is just empty words. It's like trying to tune a station without adjusting the dial. You can shout your intentions. You can write endless lists of goals. You can repeat affirmation phrases. But if your internal vibration still pulses with fear, scarcity, resentment, or doubt, the field returns exactly those frequencies. The universe does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you truly are in your vibrational coherence. Emotions practiced daily are broadcasts. Anger, gratitude, confidence, anxiety, joy, all of them are frequencies emitted into the field. There is no neutrality in this process. At every instant, you are broadcasting something. It's as if your soul were permanently in dialogue with the cosmos, even when your mind doesn't notice. This invisible dialogue shapes the fabric of the reality you experience. And here is the key. You don't need to force the field to give you anything. Forcing is staying in the old logic of survival. The quantum leap does not happen through insistence. It happens through resonance. What you experience is not the result of how hard you try, but of how much you vibrate in alignment. That's why you often realize that when you let go of control and simply become the frequency, reality responds naturally, as if it had always been waiting for your internal decision. The role of the observer is crucial. Instead of chasing what you desire, start observing from within the frequency that is already compatible with your future. Visualize, yes, but go beyond the image. Embody the sensation. Breathe as if you already are. Walk as if you already are. Decide as if you already are. Because reality does not wait for evidence to form. It bends to the internal state of those who observe it with coherence. When you insist on waiting for circumstances to then change your frequency, you remain stuck in the cycle of the old identity. This is the most common mistake, believing you need to see to believe. But the field demands the opposite. You need to believe to see. The quantum collapse does not respond to passivity, but to the active presence of those who become the frequency before the evidence. It's like tuning a radio station. You don't hear the desired melody while randomly turning the dial. You need to align exactly with the corresponding frequency. Only then does the music reveal itself clearly. The same happens with your life. The melody of your next version already exists in the field, but it can only be heard when you vibrationally adjust to it. Understand, the observer doesn't just see the world, they create it, and you are being called to consciously assume this position. With every choice, every cultivated emotion, every repeated thought, you are collapsing timelines. The quantum leap is not a distant event. It is the sum of every instant in which you decide to vibrate in accordance with your future and no longer in accordance with your past. The power is in you, not outside, not in circumstances, not in external forces. The field responds to the vibrational coherence of your being, and that is exactly what opens the doors to the quantum leap. The quantum leap is not a dramatic event that happens suddenly, like lightning streaking across the night sky. It builds in silence, through small choices that seem almost invisible, but which have the power to reconfigure your entire timeline. It is in daily micro-actions that your frequency organizes itself and begins to converse coherently with the quantum field. Every gesture, every thought, every word is a signal you send. Therefore, understanding that transformation is not just in big decisions, but in rituals hidden in the everyday, is the secret to true vibrational coherence. When you wake up and choose to be grateful instead of complaining, You are realigning your energetic signature. When you decide to take a deep breath before reacting, you are changing the frequency of your field. When you eat with consciousness, you are reminding your body that it is a temple of the new version that already exists. These micro-actions are like discrete notes that, when repeated, compose an entire symphony. There is no quantum leap without consistency. The frequency does not respond to occasional intentions, but to sustained states. What you practice repeatedly becomes who you are, and who you are shapes the reality that surrounds you. One of the most powerful ways to create this coherence is to conduct a belief audit. Observe the thoughts that repeat within you. How many times a day do you catch yourself repeating phrases of limitation? How many times do you feed images of scarcity? How many times do you relive old pains as if they were part of your identity? Every time you become aware of this pattern and interrupt it, a new opening is created in the field. Likewise, your physical environment is a vibrational reflection. What you keep in your home also speaks to the universe. Spaces cluttered with objects without purpose communicate to the field that there is no room for the new. By cleaning, reorganizing, and opening physical areas, you are energetically signaling that there is room for a new reality. The external environment becomes a mirror of your internal field. Another powerful tool is embodied visualization. It's not enough to just imagine. You need to feel. Allow yourself to breathe as you would if you were already the version you want to be. Allow yourself to walk with the posture you would have if you were already living your new timeline. Allow yourself to speak as if you were already integrated into the future you have chosen. This exercise creates a state of coherence between body, mind, and spirit, and the field responds with speed to this alignment. Vibrational micro-actions also involve simple but consistent choices. Choosing not to get involved in conversations that drain your energy. Choosing not to feed emotions that repeat the past. Choosing to be silent for a few moments to listen to yourself. Every decision, no matter how small, is a brick in the construction of the bridge that leads you to the quantum leap. Understand, it's not the intensity of a single gesture that changes the timeline, but the coherent repetition of small gestures. Just as the river carves a path in stone not by the force of a single drop, but by the constancy of its flow, so too is your reality shaped by what you sustain day after day. Vibrational micro-actions are the silent language with which you converse with the universe. The quantum leap doesn't happen in a distant future. It builds now, in the instant you choose to align yourself. Every conscious breath, every reprogrammed thought, every small act of presence is a message that echoes in the field. I am ready to vibrate at a new frequency. These subtle choices are the keys that open invisible doors. When you repeat them with consistency, the field inevitably responds, because coherence cannot be ignored. The universe recognizes who is faithful to what they vibrate and returns in experiences the reflection of that faithfulness. One of the biggest deceptions that imprison consciousness is believing that the quantum leap is something distant, reserved for an uncertain tomorrow. Many live waiting for the external reality to change, and only then do they allow themselves to live as the expanded version of themselves. This is the mistake that keeps thousands of souls trapped in the repetitive cycle of the past. The quantum leap does not happen in the future. It is already here. It is now. The linear mind tries to convince you that you need to wait for the perfect scenario. More money, more time, more recognition, more stability. But the quantum field does not work with the logic of scarcity. It responds to the present moment. The new version of you already exists, not as a distant promise, but as a frequency in superposition, waiting for you to consciously choose it. Within the field, all timelines coexist. You don't have to wait to access the one where your life is already aligned, full, and abundant. You just need to vibrationally tune into it. This means acting, feeling, and deciding as if you were already there. It's like turning the dial of a radio station. The music doesn't start when the station is created. It's already on the air. You just need to align with the correct frequency to hear it. As long as you live as someone who waits, you continue to emit the vibration of waiting, and the universe responds by prolonging that state. But when you start living as someone who already is, even if nothing around you has changed yet, the field responds by collapsing the corresponding timeline. The leap is not a promise. It is a present activation. This is the point where many get confused. It's not about pretending. It's not about wearing masks or staging. The quantum leap does not happen through illusion, but through vibrational coherence. The question is not, what do I want? But what am I willing to be now? Life doesn't change when you insist on chasing. It changes when you become. There is a profound difference between chasing something and vibrating with something. Those who chase believe that the object of desire is outside themselves, distant and slippery. Those who vibrate understand that the frequency is already within, and that they just need to align with it. Chasing creates anxiety, fatigue, and frustration. Vibrating creates magnetism, lightness, and synchronicity. You are not at the mercy of time. Time is just the sequence by which you experience the vibrational collapses you decide to assume. Reality is not chronological, it is vibrational. Therefore, the only thing that exists is the now. When you expand, the new timeline responds instantly. And even if the external signs take some time to organize, the change has already been activated the moment you altered your frequency. The choice to act as if you already are is the bridge between worlds. When you breathe confidence, even in the midst of emptiness, the universe understands that you are ready. When you give thanks before you see, you signal to the field that you already recognize abundance. When you decide to no longer negotiate with scarcity, you begin to collapse the abundant version of yourself. Imagine yourself in front of two doors. One leads back to the past, to the survivor version you already know. The other opens to your expanded version, already existing in the field. The quantum leap is crossing the door of the now. Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, not when there are external guarantees. It is today, in this very instant, in this second. Don't wait to live your new identity. If you wait, you will be vibrating in waiting, and the field will only reflect more waiting. Choose now, walk now, be now. Because the frequency is not activated in the future, it is activated in the present. The quantum leap is not a distant promise. It is an immediate reality for those who dare to tune in. This is the difference between living imprisoned and living in expansion. The future will not come to rescue you. It is you who decides to rescue yourself by choosing to vibrate the now. The quantum field is not just a space of possibilities. It is also a space of activations. Every word, every gesture, every choice you manifest in presence is an energetic seal cast on the invisible fabric of reality. The quantum leap does not happen just by intellectually understanding the principles, but by declaring and vibrationally sustaining that decision. That is why spiritual activation is fundamental in this process. Words carry vibrational weight. They are not just sounds or symbols, they are transmissions of energy. When you declare something with conviction, you are inscribing your signature in the field. The universe reads your speech as frequency and responds to the coherence you establish. Saying "I am in quantum alignment" is not an empty mantra, but an activation key that alters the pattern of waves around you. At this moment, I invite you to turn this learning into practice. Declare now in the comments, "I am in quantum alignment." This is not just a loose phrase, it is an inscription. It is a public and vibrational decision that signals to the field that you are not just listening, but choosing. Writing is action, and action is vibration. The act of commenting, of writing, of putting into words what resonates in your soul is a ritual of activation. Just as ancient priests raised altars to seal pacts with the divine, you raise your declaration in the virtual field that connects thousands of consciousnesses. And every time someone repeats this activation, a resonance forms. An invisible network begins to pulse, amplifying the frequency and reinforcing the collective leap. This is the power of vibrational repetition. When you reaffirm a truth, you are strengthening the neural and energetic pathways that support this new identity. It's like repeatedly playing the same note until it resonates so strongly that it can no longer be ignored. The field responds to this consistency. Spiritual activation also happens in small gestures. When you choose to get up in the morning and open the window to receive the light, you are declaring to the field, "I open myself to the new." When you breathe deeply before making a decision, you are transmitting, "I act in presence, not in reaction." When you choose to forgive even if your mind resists, you are sending to the universe, "I release space for the frequency of love." All these choices are micro-activators. They seem simple, but each one of them sends powerful signals that you are no longer who you were. The field does not differentiate between big and small. It only responds to what is coherently repeated. And remember, to activate is different from to wait. Those who wait vibrate absence. Those who activate vibrate presence. By declaring, by writing, by acting, You make it clear that you already are, here and now, the version you have chosen to be. The quantum leap does not open to those who merely observe. It opens to those who actively participate in creation. Therefore, allow yourself to seal this moment. Affirm with your voice, with writing, with gesture, with breath. I am in quantum alignment. This phrase, repeated with intention, is not just sound. It is a code. It is a frequency. It is a seed planted in the womb of the universe. The more you activate, the more you create resonance. The more you create resonance, the more the reality around you begins to reflect the internal state you have assumed. Spiritual activation is the act of saying to the field, I have already crossed. Everything you have felt until now was not by chance. The discomfort that accompanied you in recent days, the questions that echoed in the silence of your mind, the situations that seemed to fall apart before you, none of this was a fall. They were signs. The quantum vacuum is not the end, but the beginning. It is the invisible portal that separates the limited version from the expanded version of your being. Now you understand. The void is a portal. The collapse of the old identity is liberation. The power of the observer is creation. And micro-actions are seeds of a new reality. The quantum leap is already happening. It is not a distant future. It is now, vibrating in the present moment, responding to every choice you sustain. You are not stuck. You never were. You are in transition. The feeling of loss was just the old skin shedding. The loneliness was just the vibrational corridor opening. The silence was just the field awaiting your decision. Today, at this very moment, you have the power to choose which melody to tune into. The call is clear. Don't wait any longer. Don't postpone the leap until tomorrow. The version you seek already exists and is just waiting for your courage to vibrate in resonance with it. It's not about wanting, but about being. It's not about waiting, but about activating. The leap does not depend on time, it depends on a decision. Allow yourself today to cross the portal. Let go of the anchors of the old identity. Take a deep breath and declare, I am already what the quantum field reveals in me. This simple choice, made in presence, is the key that activates the reality you came to experience. And if this message resonated deeply with you, it's because the call has been made. Now the decision is yours. To remain in the known or to cross into the unknown that already vibrates in abundance. Choose to align today, not tomorrow. The leap has already begun. If this video has awakened this truth in you, subscribe now to continue vibrating at this frequency and share this message with those who also need to cross the portal. Together, we can sustain the energy of this leap and expand the light that already pulses within each one.